Your cat might be calm or distant with guests, but with you everything changes. Suddenly playful energy, silly movement, attention-seeking behavior appears. Here's what most people don't realize. Cats are extremely selective with vulnerability. Research in animal cognition shows that cats reserve high-energy social play for individuals they trust most. Think about that for a second. Your cat did not choose random behavior. They chose you. When your cat runs roles or acts completely ridiculous in front of you, they are doing something far more vulnerable than it seems. They are lowering their guard. In the wild, this would be dangerous, but domestic cats only do it in safe emotional spaces. Think about that for a second. Your cat is abandoning survival caution in your presence. This is not just play. This is emotional exposure. They are inviting you into their most unfiltered state. And when you respond with warmth or laughter, you are validating that safety. But here is something important most people ignore. What happens if this behavior suddenly stops? If your cat becomes quiet, withdrawn, or no longer playful, it is not just a mood change. It can be a signal of stress, discomfort, or emotional insecurity. Here is what's actually happening. Their sense of safety is being disrupted. And when that disappears, so does vulnerability. A cat that stops playing around you may be becoming more guarded, not more calm. So the next time your cat changes, suddenly do not ignore it, observe and reconnect. So when your cat suddenly acts silly, runs around, rolls on the floor, or does something random, do you actually know what it means? It is not chaos. It is not randomness. It is trust expressed through movement. That silly behavior was never just entertainment for them. And it should not be small to you either. And when they disappear, something important may be missing. So if your cat suddenly becomes distant, quiet, or overly still, do not ignore it. Because sometimes silence is not peace. It is distance. So when your cat breaks the rules, jumps where they should not, or looks at you before doing something wrong, do you actually know what it means? It is not disobedience. It is not stubbornness. It is not your cat trying to challenge you. That is your cat trying to connect with you, to understand you, to include you in their world. That is not misbehavior. That is trust. And that rule-breaking moment you once found frustrating. It was never small to them. And it should not be small to you either. Think about that for a second. They could do these things when you are not around. But they choose to do them when you are. That means something. And here is where it becomes deeply emotional. Your cat is creating moments where you have to respond to them. They are pulling you into their world. Not perfectly. Not always in a way that makes sense. But in the only way they know how. What makes this even more meaningful is this. They are choosing connection over silence. Even if it means breaking a rule to get there. But here is something most people do not think about. What happens when your cat stops doing this entirely? No more curiosity, no more boundary testing, no more engagement. At first it might feel easier, calmer. But here is what is actually happening. A cat that stops interacting, even in messy or inconvenient ways, may be withdrawing. Behavioral studies show that reduced engagement in cats can signal stress, discomfort, or emotional disconnection. Think about that for a second. The behaviors you once found frustrating were actually signs of presence. In the wild, cats survive by seeking vantage points and controlling territory. High places mean safety, new areas mean awareness. A study from the University of Lincoln found that domestic cats retain these instincts even in safe homes. Think about that for a second. Your home feels safe to you. But your cat brain is still wired for survival. So when they climb where they should not, they are following an ancient instinct to observe, secure, and understand their environment. What makes this even more powerful is this. When your cat chooses a spot near you, even if it is not allowed, they are combining instinct with trust. They want safety. And they have decided you are part of it. Have you noticed your cat behaves very differently when guests are around? Maybe they disappear, maybe they stay quiet, maybe they avoid interaction completely. But with you, they take risks. They explore forbidden spaces, they act freely. Here is what is actually happening. Cats are selective with vulnerability. Research shows that cats only express their full behavior, including curiosity and boundary pushing, with individuals they trust. Think about that for a second. Your cat does not break rules in front of strangers. They break them in front of you. And that changes everything. Because what looks like misbehavior is actually trust. They feel safe enough to explore, to test, to exist fully in your presence. You are not just someone they live with. You are the one they feel safe being themselves around. Now here is what most owners never realize. When your cat breaks a rule, looks at you and waits for your reaction. That moment is not random. It is intentional. Remember earlier when your cat looked at you before doing something wrong? This is what that meant. Here is what is actually happening. Your cat is initiating interaction. Not through obedience, but through behavior. It is feedback tracking. Think about that for a second. Your cat is not asking, can I break this rule? They are asking, how do you react when I do this? And here is where it becomes emotional. Your response becomes part of their understanding of you. If your reaction feels safe and calm, they stay connected. If it feels unpredictable, they create distance. Studies on domestic cats reveal that consistent emotional responses from owners lead to stronger attachment behaviors. So your cat is not testing your authority. They are learning your emotional patterns. Have you ever noticed your cat choosing the exact spot you told them not to go? The table, the counter, your workspace. Most people think it is intentional misbehavior. But here is what most people do not realize. Cats are deeply driven by territory and scent. They have scent glands on their paws, cheeks, and body. When they walk, sit, or rub against surfaces, they leave invisible signals behind. Here is what is actually happening. Your cat is not breaking a rule. They are expanding their safe territory. Think about that for a second. When your cat insists on being in your space, they are not invading it. They are trying to make it shared. Researchers who study feline behavior describe this as territorial bonding. Your cat is blending their presence with your environment to feel secure. And here is where it gets even more meaningful. They are including you in that space. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. Have you ever wondered why your cat insists on high places, forbidden spots, or areas you try to block? Most people think it is just habit. But here is what is actually happening.